Hello wonderful people, I'm PvPSkillz, and you know they always say you can never have it easy in Dark Souls games, but I strongly disagree, as the Profaned Greatsword smacks that notion right in the face. Once you equip this beast, the game becomes noticeably easier, and once you use it in PvP, no matter how good or bad you are, your success rate will increase drastically. So no matter how much they try to balance the game, top tier weapons will always emerge one way or another. So let's examine this beast, shall we? Once you reach Erythel, you will encounter Pontiff Sullivan, the tyrant that conquered the area with the help of Aldrich, the devourer of gods. Once you defeat him, you can transpose his soul by talking to Ludlith in Firelink Shrine. You will find 2 souls you can gain by transposing his soul, the Greatsword of Judgment and the Profaned Greatsword, and of course we want the Profaned Greatsword for the sake of this review. Pontiff Sullivan is one of the cooler bosses in Dark Souls 3, and I throughoutly enjoyed fighting him the first time I encountered him. His playstyle and his second phase are awesome, and in general, it's just a very intense fight. Pontiff actually means the Pope, which suggests that Sullivan is a follower of some religions or cult, and that turned out to be true, as Sullivan is a high-ranking member of the Church of the Deep and is a devoted follower of Aldrich. The church serves as a protector of Aldrich. They provide him with sacrifices to sate his hunger so he can eventually become a lord, and a lord he became. Aldrich was not chosen or privileged like the others. He became a Lord of Cinder by sheer might. Pontiff Sullivan and his outsider knights went to Anorlando with Aldrich to capture and feed on Gwendolyn, son of Gwyn. Pontiff Sullivan also conscripted both Dancer of the Boreal Valley and Vorted of the Boreal Valley. People usually label Pontiff Sullivan as pure evil, or you know, just a bad guy. But in the Dark Souls universe, nothing is black and white, as the motivation of every character within the context of the game has reason. Plus, the mysterious nature of what actually happened in the game makes everything grey, and if you tried hard enough, you can portray Gwyn as a bad guy. So now that we looked at the backstory, let's look at the build. The Profaned Greatsword has C scaling in both strength and dexterity when fully upgraded, which means making a build for it is pretty straightforward. You should go with a quality build, so having between 40 and 50 in both strength and dexterity is the way to go. And with this build, you can use most of the weapons in the game, and with the low weight of the Profaned Greatsword, you can actually have a fast weapon or a secondary weapon to complement it in order to switch up your tactics on the fly. So that's it for the build. Let's go and check out the moveset. The moveset on the Profaned Greatsword is one of my favorites within the Ultra Greatsword class, as the two-handed attacks are horizontal sweeps instead of vertical attacks, you know, like the Fume Ultra Greatsword, or you know, the standard Greatsword for that matter. And this can prove very useful in most situations, since you can attack multiple opponents at the same time, thus providing good crowd control in most situations. Plus, the two-handed attacks are unparryable, which is sweet because there's a lot of parry spamming these days. So just take a shortcut and don't deal with it anymore. Just use the two-handed Profaned Ultra Greatsword and you'll be fine. But remember, the rolling attacks and the backstep attacks and the running attacks are parryable even when two-handed. I have to start by saying that I think this is the best weapon in the game at the moment, although the Astora Greatsword comes close too. It's just a beast, as the damage you can inflict with this is very high. you do get about 600 plus damage once you have 40 in both strength and dexterity. But some weapons do actually outdamage it, but they are usually weapons that have vertical attacks and they weigh much more than the Profaned Greatsword. So now that we established that this weapon is among the best, if not the best, there's not a lot that goes into it. Your primary target is to get your 2-hit guaranteed combo attacks, as they usually leave your opponent with very little HP, and after that then you can switch to a faster weapon and finish them off. The two-handed heavy attack are sweet. It's a thrust attack that deals tremendous damage, and when charged it can one-shot people just like that. You can use this with the Leo ring to further increase your damage with it when you land a counter attack. I like to use a thrusting attack to screw with my opponent's timings, especially when they try to backstab you. The tracking on it is fantastic, so don't worry about getting backstabbed. The battle art applies fire damage on the weapon, an increase of 80 fire damage. Pretty sweet, but you do need to initiate the battle art attack, which consumes a shit ton of stamina. So I recommend you use it in the heat of the battle, as it only lasts for 15 seconds. The charge attacks also apply fire on the weapon, which looks sweet, especially the one-handed charge attack. So as I said before, this weapon is just too good and too easy to use. So I say let's discuss how to counter it. This can also apply to other weapons with hyper armor too, although I don't demonstrate this in the video. I did try everything I'm about to mention, so they do work, so don't worry about that. As we all know, hyper armor, or the lack of getting stunned, is what makes ultra greatswords dangerous. Very dangerous in fact, and the only way to reliably counter them is to outrange them. Period. There's just no other way. So using a spear or a halberd can really go a long way. You just have to get good with your spacing. Another option is the composite bow, which works wonders too, as you can attack while rolling and backstepping, and it's very fast, so if you hit them while they swing, it will usually hit them. Another alternative that can work too is the quick stepping daggers. Quick stepping daggers actually makes backstabbing them pretty easy. However, I don't want to say that this is a reliable counter. The first thing I mentioned is a reliable counter. This one you need to get good with it, and I cannot confirm. But you can also use spells, although they aren't as reliable, but some pyromancy can punish really well. So in summary, outranging the Profaned Greatsword is the best way to counter it. And that's why it's a good idea to leave a spear in your inventory so you can use it when you need it. So that's it for the Profaned Greatsword, guys. I also want to say thank you all of you for the support of this channel. I never had this much support, and to be honest, it's the only thing that keeps me making videos. So thanks a lot, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.